So Reason 13 has been announced and it's coming out pretty soon with a lot of cool new features. However, there are still a lot of great features in existing and all previous versions of Reason that are often getting overlooked, like its sampling capabilities, something that you cannot find in many other DAWs like in Reason. Now you might think this is nonsense and every DAW allows you to sample, but this is not exactly true. And let me show you what I... So let's say I have this drum synth here from the Opal Max 4 Live synthesizer, which is a really cool one by the way. And I have this kick sound that I created here. Now, let's say I want to sample it and use it inside of a simpler or a sampler device in Ableton Live. So to do that, what I will need to do is create a new audio track, and then I will need to route the synthesizer, the jam synth, into this new track. So now when I play it, I can actually record it over here. So I need to enable the record over here, and I need to put the monitoring here so I can also hear what I'm recording while I'm recording it. And then what I need to do is start recording and then just record the sound that I want to capture. Now from here, what I need to do now is move to my MIDI track and then select this sample and just drag it into this MIDI track, which is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not that complicated and it's not a big deal. Here, there is no way for me to sample directly into the sampler rack. Now let's jump into Reason and I will show you how it's done over there, which I think is much more simpler and it works exactly like a sampler is supposed to work. So here we are in Reason, and this is Reason 12, but this doesn't mean that this is only work in Reason 12. This feature is actually available in Reason from the early version of Reason. And to prove that, I will drag here one of the very early and first rack inside of Reason, which is Redrum, the drum machine. Now, if we look at Redrum over here, we have this icon that looks like a waveform. And this is essentially the feature that I wanted to talk about, this ability to record directly into the channel of Redrum and using whatever we recorded as a drum part. So how does this works? In order to be able to do that, we need to have like another source. So let's say I will go here and I want to select one of Noise Engineering, one of my favorite rack extension, the Basilimus, which is great for percussive kind of sound, synthetic percussive kind of sound. And let's say I have this sound over here that I want to create some sort of a kick drum that sound like this. This greedy, very nice sounding kick drum. Now all I need to do is flip to the back, open the audio channel here for the Basilimus synth, and let's collapse this Redrum just so it'll be easier to see. And now you see the inputs here, the sampling inputs. Whatever we put inside here, we will be able to record from here. So just to show you example, I'm going to take a parallel out from the Basilimus synth and I will plug it into the sampling input over here. So now, and let's close this and open Redrum, whatever I'm going to play from here is going to be captured here. So I'm going to click on this button, which will enable the recording. And you can see from the waveform that I captured it over here. Now all I got to do is right click and just say edit sample. And here I have a full editor for the sample that I just recorded. So here what I can do, I can edit the sample, I can normalize it, I can crop it if I want to get rid of the silent parts. And I can also fade in or fade out some parts. So let's say I want to fade out the ending of this kick and I will call this kick, right? And save that. So now I can use it immediately from Redrum. I don't need to drag anything, I don't need to move around files, and I have a misspelling here, let me correct this quick. This is supposed to be kick, right? So like this, what I can do now, maybe do something like this. I can build my drum kit just by keep sampling different sources of synthesizer or other racks from Reason, right? So let's say I want to try something a bit different, maybe try another engine here. So now I can do the same thing. I just go to this channel, I press record, and now I recorded this. And I can even edit immediately from here. I don't need to stop the recording. So again, I'm gonna crop this to something shorter because I don't need all the silence that's been recorded. And then I can normalize it, call this perk for percussive. And now it's available over here. So I can continue like this and just continue and build my unique kit, because this kit is now based on all this sampling that I'm getting from all the recs, and I can use any other synths, whatever I want. And what's cool is that every rec in Reason that has some sort of sampling capability has this button. So let's say, let's take a look at Mimic, for example, and I drag Mimic over here, and every time you will see this icon over here, the waveform, it's mean that you can do the same exactly thing. You can sample directly into the rec. You don't need to record, you don't need to take all the steps, you can immediately sample with that, which this is how sampler is supposed to work. In all the rest of the DAWs, it's not really a sampler. You can record, sample stuff and put them inside a sampler, but Reason is one of the very few DAWs that actually has a sampling capability inside of it. Now, one thing you need to be aware of is that when you record these samples, now they are part of what is called the contained song project inside of Reason. What does it mean? It means that if I want to save this sample, this preset for redrum, I'm going to see this pop-up that's telling me, hey, you cannot save this because some of the samples are part of this song project. So what you need to do is close this, and if you want to use this patch, this preset outside of Reason or in other project, in other song project, you gotta go into File, into the song self-contained settings, and you gotta deselect these files, uncheck them. And when you press OK, it will ask you where do you want to save those. So you need to select a folder somewhere, and once you save those, then you will be able to save the preset. So let's say I save it just right here. So now if I try to save the preset, now I can save the preset. And I can reuse it either in Ableton Live to the Reason rec or in other song project that I have. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. That was a really quick and simple tip inside of Reason, just to show you how you can use it as a sampler and show you some of its sampling capabilities, something I feel like can be overlooked and not always noticed. I hope you can find it useful and that you learned something that you didn't know before, and I will see you next time.